the one who refused the soup. My name is Lin Kaian. I'm 28 years old, and I've been living in the city of Kamlin for over a decade now. Kamlin is a peculiar place, an old industrial city with factories belching out smoke day and night, mixed with ancient Chinese neighborhoods where time seems to have frozen in the last century. I work as an investigative reporter, specializing in bizarre missing persons cases, the kind that the police brush off for lack of evidence. It suits me because I'm always curious, always digging into the layers of grime in life, where truth is often buried under a veneer of normalcy. I rent a small apartment on the outskirts, near the river, where I wake up early each morning to go for a run, breathing in the crisp air before diving into the chaos of the day. My life, at least on the surface, is pretty stable. A job I love, a few close friends, an evening spent alone with a cup of black coffee, pondering unsolved cases. But everything started to change on a Wednesday in mid-October, about 2 months ago. I remember it clearly because the weather was unusually chilly, with golden leaves scattering across the grey concrete streets and a brisk wind carrying the scent of factory smoke from afar. I was sitting in my usual coffee shop near the newsroom, starting my day by checking emails. My inbox is always overflowing, from confidential tips from anonymous witnesses to spam ads of all sorts. But that email stood out immediately amid the clutter. No subject line, sender from a strange address, forgotten memory at anonymous.cn. I clicked it open without much thought, assuming it might be a new lead on the missing girl case. I was following a young woman who vanished from her apartment without a trace, leaving only a vague message on the wall. I've forgotten. Inside the email was just one attachment, a photo. I downloaded and opened it on my phone, my hand holding a steaming cup of coffee. It was a picture of Xiaolan, my ex-girlfriend. She was standing by the window, wearing that familiar white dress I'd bought her for her birthday, her long hair cascading over her shoulders, and a gentle smile on her face. But what chilled me to the bone was her eyes. They were staring straight into the camera, as if piercing through the screen, right at me. Those eyes were full of emotion, full of sadness and a plead. Xiaolan had died 2 years ago in a horrific car accident on the highway leading out of Kamlin. She was trapped in the burning car, and her body, it wasn't intact enough for easy identification. The family had to use DNA. I've never accepted it was just an accident. Something felt off. The brake marks didn't match the speed, and there were rumors from witnesses about a strange car tailing her beforehand. But the police ruled it an accident due to bad weather and careless driving, and it all faded into oblivion, leaving me with a lingering obsession. I sat there frozen in the coffee shop, my hand trembling so much that coffee spilled onto the table. When was this photo taken? The background was our old apartment, with the blue curtains she loved, but something was wrong. The lighting was dim, like at dusk, and there was a long crack in the corner wall that I didn't remember being there. I checked the photo's metadata through an app on my phone. Nothing. As if all the information had been professionally wiped clean. I replied immediately, "Who sent this? What kind of joke is this? If you know something about Xiaolan, tell me." But the email bounced back in seconds. The sender's address didn't exist, as if it had never been created. From that moment, my normal life began to crack. At first, it was subtle changes I tried to ignore. I started dreaming about Xiaolan more frequently. Not the hazy dreams from before, but vivid ones that felt real. In them, she said nothing, just stood at the end of the hallway in my apartment, looking at me with sad eyes, her hand reaching out as if to pull me closer. I'd wake up in the middle of the night, drenched in cold sweat, with an unnamed unease. Work continued, but I couldn't focus anymore. Other missing persons cases seemed trivial, and I spent more time obsessing over that email. As a reporter, I have tools and connections. I asked a friend in IT to trace the IP, but it led to a proxy server overseas, looping through several countries before vanishing. No trail. I figured someone was toying with my memories, maybe an old enemy from a case I'd exposed, like the disappearance of a businessman tied to local mafia. A few days later, the second email arrived, in the dead of night, while I was lying in bed, trying to sleep. The subject this time, "She's waiting for you." Inside was another photo, Xiaolan sitting on the sofa, holding a book she loved, Lost Souls by an ancient Chinese author. Her face was slightly blurred, as if covered by a thin mist, but her eyes still stared directly into the camera, full of meaning. I zoomed in on my computer, and my heart pounded when I saw, in the corner of the room behind the curtain, a shadowy figure of another woman. Her face wasn't clear, but the silhouette was oddly familiar, tall and slender, with long hair, standing as if observing. I dug through my old files on Xiaolan's accident, the documents I kept in a locked drawer. There was a detail I'd overlooked. The sole witness mentioned seeing a strange woman near the crash site, but no one could confirm it because of the thick fog that night. Fog. The highway outskirts rarely have fog, especially in summer. I became more obsessed. During the day, I'd try to work, interviewing sources for a new missing case, but my mind always drifted back to the photos. I drove out to the suburbs, to the spot where Xiaolan crashed a dangerous curve by the river. Standing there, with the wind whipping round, I felt like someone was watching me from afar. That evening, I searched online for urban legends in Kamlin. The city is famous for its ancient Chinese quarter, with narrow alleys bearing strange names. One of them is Shizai Wang Alley, the crossroads of the forgotten, where it's said that souls who died unjustly wander, refusing to accept death. According to legend, it's a hazy replica of the Nai-He Bridge from Chinese mythology, where souls must drink Mengpo soup to forget their past lives before reincarnating. But in Shizai Wang, those who refuse the soup are trapped forever, their memories distorted, and they can drag the living into their vortex. At the entrance of the alley is an ancient, run-down tea shop that's always open, even at 2 to 3 a.m. Though no one has ever seen the owner open or close it, the alley is always shrouded in thin mist, no matter the weather in the rest of the city. I'd heard about this alley before from an old source, an elderly Chinese man telling tales over drinks. He said, "Don't go there if you still cling to memories. The old lady at the tea shop will offer you a bowl of soup, but if you refuse, you'll become a copy of yourself, flawed and twisted." I scoffed at the time, dismissing it as superstition. But now, with these photos, I felt a connection. Maybe the email sender was hinting at this legend, or worse, drawing me into some psychological game. I decided to investigate. The next afternoon, I drove to the Chinese Quarter. The sky was overcast, dark clouds threatening rain. The quarter is in the old center of Kamlin, with red brick buildings stained with age, lanterns swinging, and the smell of incense mixed with street food. Shizai Wang Alley was at the end of a small lane, hidden behind market stalls. As I stepped in, the atmosphere shifted instantly. A thin mist enveloped everything, though the streets outside were dry. The mist wasn't dense, but enough to blur vision, making things look like through frosted glass. The alley stretched long and narrow, walls of high brick covered in moss, hung with faded red lanterns. My footsteps echoed oddly, as if someone was following, but when I turned, there was only mist. In the middle of the alley, I met her, a young woman, about 24, sitting on the steps of an abandoned house. She wore a thin white dress, her black hair long and straight, but her eyes were redrimmed, as if she'd been crying for centuries. She looked up at me and gave a faint smile. "What are you looking for here?" Her voice was empty, fragmented, like an echo from far away. I startled but kept my composure. Reporter's habit. "I'm a journalist, investigating some strange things. Do you live around here?" She chuckled softly, a dry sound like crumbling leaves. "Live? Maybe. My name's Dee. Leman, Dee. You look lost. Sit down. This alley isn't a place to stand alone." I hesitated but sat beside her. We talked for a while, starting with small talk. Dee spoke of the alley in a strange tone, like recounting a fairy tale. "Shizai Wang isn't always like this. Sometimes it shortens if you're happy. Sometimes it lengthens if you carry sorrow. It depends on what you hold in your heart." She asked about me, and oddly, I poured it all out. About Xiaolan, the accident, the weird photos. Dee listened intently, her eyes unblinking, absorbing every word. "Don't believe everything you see here. In Shizai Wang, memories aren't always yours. Sometimes they belong to others, and they share them without asking." When I left, it was dark. I glanced back. Dee was still there, but her figure faded into the mist. Strange, I thought. Why didn't anyone else in the alley see her? Passers-by, an old vendor, some kids playing seemed oblivious, as if she wasn't there. From then on, I returned to the alley more often, drawn by an invisible force. Each time, Dee was waiting on those steps. We talked about everything: life in Kamlin, old legends of lost souls, and personal pains. Dee mentioned the ancient tea shop at the entrance, where the old lady Wang Chana twist on Meng always sat, brewing bowls of forgetting soup. "Don't go in there," Dee warned seriously. "She'll offer you a bowl. Don't drink anything she gives you. If you refuse, memories return, but not whole. They'll be distorted, and you won't tell real from fake." I laughed, thinking it was superstitious nonsense, but curiosity gnawed at me. One sleepless night, around 2 a.m., haunted by dreams of Xiaolan, I drove to the alley. The streets of Camleen were silent, only wind howling through tall buildings. The alley at midnight was even stranger. Thick mist, wind blowing backward, swirling dead leaves like tiny spirits. At the entrance, there was the tea shop. It looked on the verge of collapse. Curved tiles warped, red lanterns dangling with dim light. I pushed the door open, the creak echoing like a cry. The smell of old tea hit me, mixed with damp earth and something sweetly alluring. Inside, only an old lady sat behind a wooden counter. Her face was blurry, as if veiled in mist. I couldn't make out any features. It was like someone was pulling an invisible curtain over them. "Sit down, young man." Her voice was raspy, like metal scraping stone, echoing in the cramped space. "I know what you're here for." I sat on an old wooden stool, my heart racing. "What do you know about the souls in this alley? About the Nai Bridge and the forgetting soup?" The old lady laughed, a grating sound that made my hairs stand on end. "Nai Bridged. This is just a hazy copy. Those who won't forget wander here. I give them the soup of forgetting so they can reincarnate. But some refuse, like that girl Dee. They keep their memories, but they're polluted, branching into things that aren't real." She pushed a cracked porcelain bowl toward me, filled with clear liquid steaming with a strange scent, sweet but bitter underneath. "Drink, and you'll forget all your pain about that girl." I shook my head, pushing it away. "I don't need to forget. I need the truth about Zhao Lan's death." The old lady tilted her head, her face still obscured. "You came seeking the dead, but the dead are seeking you. Be careful, your memories will be contaminated. They'll flood in, and you won't know what's you anymore." I left the shop uneasy, the bowl untouched. From that night, things got weirder. My memories started warping. At first, fleeting images, driving on the highway, but suddenly the scenery changed. The river red like blood, and Zhao Lan there, her mouth grinning grotesquely wide. Then memories not mine flooded in. I remembered being a woman, betrayed by a lover, a rage so intense it led to unjust death. Those were Dee's memories. She'd been killed by that man, or suicided after killing him, and refused the soup, clinging to hatred across lives. I returned to the alley, seeking Dee for answers. She was there, but looked different, skin pale, eyes sunken like dark pits. "You've met her," Dee whispered. "Now my memories are spilling into you. I didn't want to forget, but now you're dragged in too. Don't you see? Zhao Lan's death wasn't an accident. It was me, ... I hated her because she was the reincarnation of the woman who stole my man." Her words hit like lightning. I recalled Zhao Lan had mentioned strange dreams of a woman stalking her. Had Dee pulled her into the alley, causing the crash? But memories mixed. I remembered pushing Zhao Lan's car off the cliff, hands sticky with blood. Was that Dee's memory? The alley changed each visit, sometimes endless, walls cracking with oozing blood, sometimes short, wind howling with cries. I tried journaling everything, like now, to stay sane, but my hand writes, and sometimes the words aren't mine. Dee whispers in my head, "We're one now." The tea shop appears in odd corners of my apartment, the old lady cackling, "Drink, before it's too late." Now, I don't know. Am I still the real Lin Kaian, or just a flawed copy, tainted by dead memories? Emails keep coming, but from my own address now, with photos of me and Dee together. And Dee, she's behind me, her cold breath on my neck. If you're reading this, be careful. Don't dig too deep into memories. Once contaminated, they're never clean. Maybe I should go back to the shop, drink that soup. But if I refuse, like Dee, what then? The truth is hazy, like the mist in Shizai Wong, continuing to expand for length. The days after refusing the soup, I tried avoiding the alley at all costs. I stayed home, locked doors, drawn curtains, trying to focus on work. But memories came like tidal waves. At first, flashes, cooking in the kitchen, suddenly remembering the metallic smell of blood, hands sticky with red liquid. I'd wash my hands for hours, but the sensation lingered. Colleagues called, asking why I suddenly took leave. "Just sick," I said, but really, I feared going out. Feared sudden mist, feared wind carrying Zhao Lan's name. One night, a new email. Subject, "You and me," attached video. Me and Dee strolling the alley, laughing. But I never filmed that. In the video, I turned to the camera, eyes red like Dee's, whispering, "We won't forget." I smashed the computer, but morning came. It was intact on the desk. Email still there. I confronted it. Back to the alley, recorder in hand for proof. Mist thick wind backward, carrying childlike sobs from afar. Dee waited, not sitting, standing, beckoning. "You're here, I've been waiting." We walked deeper. Scenery shifted. Walls sprouted cracks. Red liquid seeping. "This is my memory," D said. "See, that man. He looks just like you." The twist hit. The man who betrayed D resembled me exactly. Was I his reincarnation? Memories surged, remembering abandoning D, loving another woman, the past life of Xiao Lan. D's hatred now aimed at me, pulling me into the spiral. I fled the alley, home, but in the mirror, the reflection wasn't MIT, was D, with a twisted smile. I screamed, shattered the glass, blood flowing from hands, but I laughed D's laugh. The old lady appeared in dreams that night. "You refused. Now you're a flawed copy. Memories branch, unending. Drink, or wander forever." I'm writing this as a final warning, but who knows? Maybe you're reading my memory, drawn in. Don't trust what you remember. Reality, it's hazy as mist, and perhaps I've been gone for long.